YouTube NBA Media Day is always a highly anticipated event every season for an NBA fan like myself. This is usually the time of year where you start seeing new faces in different places as far as the NBA goes. Maybe you see some, interesting hairstyles. Side note, this year, unfortunately, Jimmy did not bring a hairstyle. We'll talk about that later. But NBA Media Day, maybe you get some funny sound bites out of, different players across the league. Maybe you get some new bomb drops of information that you weren't expecting from certain players that drastically can impact their season and the NBA season as a whole. There were a couple things that we just didn't know going into this day that we learned, and this is the day of the year that kind of gives the upcoming season some life and starts to put it into perspective how close it is. And I'm going to be talking about in this video everything we learned on NBA Media Day as far as new pieces of information for the upcoming 2025 NBA season, as well as some funny clips, some sound bites, some things like that, and just some interesting quotes from certain players that I want to talk about as well. Let's get right into the video. Here's everything we learned on NBA Media Day 2025. So quick disclaimer and side note, I did talk about some of these clips that I'm going to be sharing in this video on a very recent collaboration I did with @TheBuzzerSports. Go subscribe to John. He does great work over there on that channel. I will probably be making, more appearances on his channel as time goes along. We just did a great video together on his channel. So make sure you guys go subscribe to him. Link will be down in the description to @TheBuzzerSports. We did talk about some of these things over there, but we're going to be starting with Ben Simmons and his remarks, in this clip that I'm going to be showing you guys. Let's roll the clip.
We talked to Cam Thomas, we talked to Cam Johnson, and they said you at the top and healthy is going to make this team work like a well-oiled engine.
I think people forget, me as a player when I'm healthy. I can play basketball. I'm pretty good, right? So for me, it's just being consistent with that and staying on top of my body.
So, I do think it's fair, for Ben Simmons to say that, people forget how great I am when I'm healthy and stuff like that. He is good at basketball. Obviously, we know that. We just haven't seen it. We just haven't seen it with Brooklyn, and we haven't really seen it since the 2021 NBA season with my 76ers. Really the last full season and healthy season that, Ben Simmons was at the top of his game. Whether or not it's, this reason or that reason, I think we can all agree, at this point, most of us at least, that, we just kind of want to see Ben Simmons back on the court and playing really good basketball. At the end of the day, this guy in 2021, the last full season he played with my Sixers, he was a DPOY finalist and an all-star. This guy's just a great player, a generational skill set to him. As time has progressed as a Sixers fan, first I was wanting him to not do well after the whole fiasco he caused here in my city. And then after that, some time passed, and as people say, time heals all, right? Now I'm just kind of in a place where I'm honestly rooting for the guy, and I hope everything goes well for him. This is the time of year, every NBA offseason, where you're going to get a Ben Simmons montage with a bunch of three-point shooting on Twitter and stuff like that, and then you fail to see it during the regular season, obviously going into a contract year with the Nets. And so this is kind of a make or break year for Ben Simmons, in my opinion, as far as the NBA goes. If everything goes as it has been going, we could see Ben Simmons out of the league very shortly, and I personally don't want to see that for the guy. I hope he gets it all together. Just an interesting clip I thought I would share in this video. Now, as far as a more maybe substantial piece of news, that kind of what this video is going to be built on is a piece of information we got from a certain player that we just kind of didn't know before maybe, and that is Lonzo Ball talking about his return to basketball for the Chicago Bulls this upcoming season. Let's roll the clip.
Obviously, you need to see, once you get into camp, how you're reacting physically, but are you confident that you will be in uniform on opening night?
Yeah, man, that's the goal. Obviously, we can't really tell the future, but that's the plan I'm on. I think I'll be ready for the first game for sure.
So clearly Lonzo thinks he is going to be ready for the first game in game one of the 2025 NBA season, and that is great news whether you're a Bulls fan or just a basketball fan in general. I think we can all agree Lonzo has an awesome skill set. We're just kind of hoping this guy, who suffered some really bad injuries, some unprecedented injuries to his knee, can get back off and running and kind of revitalize his NBA career. We haven't even seen him on an NBA court since 2022, which feels like forever ago. And so I'm just excited for Lonzo. I hope he has a great upcoming season. This is, again, some information that not necessarily anyone was, confirming whether or not Lonzo Ball might be ready for game one of the 2025 season. So we'll have to wait and see if he has a minutes restriction, or, newly acquired Josh Giddey is going to take some of his role away from him, and, really just quite frankly, what Lonzo looks like after this knee injury as far as his effectiveness goes, because as we know, injuries can drastically change a player over the course of their career. We've seen it so many times, and so hopefully Lonzo looks like his old self, after the injury. But again, let's not forget the Chicago Bulls did bring in Josh Giddey, who has kind of a similar skill set to Lonzo Ball, and they gave up Alex Caruso to get him. And so I think, Josh Giddey could be looked at as maybe kind of a Lonzo Ball replacement or a long-term solution to Lonzo Ball, maybe not being in the future plans of Chicago. We'll have to see about it, but I just do think, this is an exciting piece of information, particularly for Chicago Bulls fans, but also just NBA fans in general. I just want to see this guy succeed, so good luck Lonzo Ball next season. Bulls fans, let me know down in the comments how excited you are. This next clip is, kind of a interesting one, similar to the Ben Simmons thing. Russell Westbrook, newly acquired Denver Nugget, had some things to say about, his time with the Lakers and Clippers. I, would imagine this is what he's talking about here, and how he was kind of maybe a little bit mismanaged on those teams. And you guys can, of course, make your own decisions on what you think of these clips. I'm just here to provide them and give my little takes on them. But, as far as the clip, we're just going to roll it.
To be honest, it was unique. They just didn't put me in a position to make it unique. I was in a position where I was playing not my position. Being able to be here and Coach Malone allowing me to be able to use my speed, use my transition skill to be able to make other guys better, makes the game easy.
So I do think Russell Westbrook, you could make a case that he's in for a big bounce back season, leading what we can speculate as the second unit for the Denver Nuggets and, kind of being a six-man off of the bench for Denver. It's kind of interesting to me that Russell Westbrook would say that he wasn't in a natural role and insinuating that that could have contributed to some loss in production. It's crazy because as far as the Clippers go, I actually think Russ did a fairly good job of reinventing himself, as a complementary, kind of depth piece at the point guard position. He was not a focal point of that team by any stretch. And so when he was on the floor, he had to share a lot of touches and, ball dominance to guys like James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. And I actually think, Russell Westbrook, one of the things that helped him in Los Angeles Clippers situation was his defense. He actually seemed to adapt a little bit on that end of the floor. And so for him to say that, he just hasn't been given the opportunity to kind of play like himself and given that role again, I just don't know how effective that's going to be in today's NBA anymore, especially with him being 35 years old, especially with some of the results we've seen from the Lakers. I do think it is a good signing. The Denver Nuggets need some, pop and scoring off of their bench, and I do think Russ could be the right guy for that job, but I also think he's a little off the mark in this regard. Let me know down in the comment section again, what do you think of these Russ comments? Do you agree or do you disagree with him? I kind of disagree. I think the roles he's been given are not the issue, and I actually think his time with the Clippers was a little bit better than a lot of people expected because he was in sort of a different role. So again, let me know down in the comments. Now let's get into, maybe the biggest piece of news that we got, for my 76ers. And this is another bombshell of information that, not a lot of people were expecting. And this is that Joel the Process Embiid himself has said that he has lost 25 to 30 pounds in the offseason. I'm going to roll the clip.
You also look like you're in pretty good shape. Did you shed some lbs, lose weight, and how's your knee holding up?
I'm all right. Think I lost about 25, 30. So, I still got ways to go. Still want to lose more, but it's a process.
For a Sixers fan, I think this is fantastic news for two reasons. And the first reason, obviously we could say that players who consistently get lower body injuries, and especially players of Joel Embiid's size, this is a big risk having so much weight on you to carry up and down the court for 82 games plus playoffs, especially with Joel Embiid's injury history. We know that lower body injuries are common, and not just like, tweaking an ankle, like season ending, meniscus tear kind of thing. So when you lose weight and you're carrying less weight up and down the court, you are certainly less susceptible, even if by a little bit, you are less susceptible to a season-ending injury on the lower body. And so I think this is great news. It just decreases the risk of Joel getting a lower body injury, in my opinion. And we're looking for all the help we can get. We're trying to stack the odds in our favor of doing everything we can to not have Joel injured for the playoffs. This is a good step in the right direction in that regard. If it truly is 25 to 30 pounds that he can keep off for the whole season, I think this is a great thing on the injury front because, again, it just, while it doesn't take the risk away, and while Joel is just kind of an injury-prone player at the end of the day, you're just looking to decrease the risk, and I do think this does that a little bit, and so this is great news there. But another front that I think this helps Joel on, and why this is great news for the Sixers, is the other day I was looking at highlights from the 2022 NBA season, the 2021 NBA season. This is just a couple years ago, and Joel Embiid looked like he was moving a lot differently in those years. He was super explosive off of his first steps, with the ball in his hands, driving to the rim. He was blowing by by defenders. He was leaping over people. He looked like a different player. It looked like a 10-year age gap in a player's career. And I was like, what happened to this guy? Like, what happened to where he's just maybe lost a little bit of a step in explosiveness? It can't really be his age because that was just 2 years ago. And he's not necessarily an old player. He's only like 30 years old. So I'm wondering, like, how did this happen? And I think weight has to do with it. You know, we do know that in the 2021 season, Joel Embiid did lose some weight and he looked more explosive. And so I think, you know, Joel Embiid could use a little bit more, you know, quickness and explosiveness, certainly blowing past defenders. You're basically trading some power and, you know, brute strength for some more explosiveness. And I challenge you guys, you know, I definitely am going to tell you guys, go look at some highlights from 2021, again, just a few years ago, and compare them to the, you know, last season version of Joel, who obviously he's still, you know, maybe more dominant than ever, but these look like two different athletes, right? And so, you know, I do think it is interesting to see what his explosiveness level looks like with this weight loss, if he can keep it off for the season. Let me know down in the comment section, Sixers fans, what do you think of Joel's weight loss? Do you think it really means anything? Do you think he's embellishing the amount of weight he's lost, or do you think it's just kind of a non-factor maybe for the injuries? I think it happens to be a positive on both of those fronts that I laid out, but those are really like extremely big pieces of news in my opinion. The Lonzo Ball clip and the Joel Embiid clip, I think it's pretty big information. That media day always seems to have these couple things, and you know, now for the rest of the video I'm going to show some funny clips and some clips I just find kind of interesting. Let's get into like some funny clips, and we're going to start with from the 2025 media day, and we're going to start with Jimmy Butler talking about his hair.
I don't know what I had planned, but all my plans went to complete and utter not my way. But I'm here, normal hair, no shenanigans.
So yeah, I was kind of like hoping Jimmy would bring kind of a new hairstyle into the NBA media day. Last season it was the goth hairstyle, emo Jimmy or whatever, and the season prior it was the dreads with, you know, no facial hair. I just think it's so funny that, you know, his trolling with that, and then that is his picture, you know, for the entire NBA season. We have to look at it all year. It's so funny to me. He came with the regular hair, it seems, this season. Maybe a little bit disappointing for me personally, but I don't know. Let me know if you guys think that's, you know, about time he starts taking it seriously. I don't know. I just think it's funny. Another clip I saw was really cool, and you know, something that was kind of just a little bit wholesome was this Giannis clip I saw from media day with these kids.
You guys good? You guys good? I'm proud of you. Do I see right here?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Crosby.
Crosby. And you? Ricky.
So, you know, Giannis is just such a likable guy. Him as a person, I just think he's such a cool person. This was a clip that really stood out to me as like, you know, I saw a comment on it. I forget if it was on Twitter or YouTube Shorts, but basically someone was saying like, not a lot of other stars would do something like this and like just kind of act like this around, you know, people that look up to them. And, you know, just think about something like that. You know, it could really like make their year, make their life like that. Those kids are always going to remember that. Just being such a wholesome guy. Like, I just thought it was really cool and also kind of funny. This Jalen Brunson clip I thought was hilarious.
Did you say hi to Karl when you got here?
Excuse me?
Did you say hi to Karl when you got here?
Who's Karl? Don't know who that is. Don't know who that is.
I don't know why it's funny, but like, who's Karl is just so funny to me. You know, I don't know. Maybe you guys can let me know why that's funny. And then one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time on NBA Twitter was Scoot Henderson's clip. I don't know if this is taken out of context. I haven't watched the whole interview of Scoot, but yeah, I'm sure there was some more context to this clip.
Kind of what do you look back on about your rookie season and kind of what you learned from it?
I look back at the food, the good food that I had. Yeah, a lot of the food. And then, you know, what I've learned from it.
It's just so funny. A lot of other people were questioning, like, is this even real? Like, it just, there has to be more context. But let me know down in the comment section, what's the funniest clip that I shared with you guys? You know, hopefully you guys enjoyed NBA Media Day as much as I did. What was the best part of NBA Media Day 2025? I think it was some of those funny clips. You know, for me personally, I'm excited for Embiid losing weight. I'm excited for Lonzo Ball coming back. I do think these are very, on a more serious note, pretty awesome pieces of information for both fan bases, and especially Lonzo Ball appearing to, you know, make his NBA return. I'm so happy for him, you know? Either way, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. You know, it really helps out the channel. Make sure you guys leave a comment. You know, what you think of the video. Any feedback is appreciated. Anything that I asked throughout the video, you know, I would love some, you know, answers on and stuff like that. I want you guys to engage with the channel, and I will engage with you back because, you know, I do reply to a lot of comments. At least I try to. I will certainly read them. That is the bare minimum. I will definitely read all of the comments on the channel. I might not reply to all of them because there are a lot to get to, but I will read them all. Please go down to the link in the description below. We're at The Buzzer Sports and John's channel. He has become a very good friend of the channel, and he definitely knows his hoops. And so if you like this content on this channel and you're, maybe a returning viewer, you will love the content over there. And this is my second collab with John. We're at the Buzzer Sports, and so, probably more to come as well. And so I can definitely personally recommend, obviously, the video that I'm in, I want you guys to see, because if you like this channel, you'll definitely like that video, but the other videos are good too. I mean, he's a really good content creator on his way up. And so make sure you guys check out the channel at the Buzzer Sports, links down below, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We're on the road to 15K, and I'm trying to build something special of this NBA, community and NBA channel. I want to add a positive influence on the NBA community. There's just so much toxicity going around. We're not about that here. So if you want a, place to come every day, or, almost every day, where you can watch NBA content that's positive, that covers all variety of NBA topics, whether it's NBA history, whether it's current NBA events like this one, in this video, or whether it's like NBA rankings, predictions, all that stuff, deep dives. We make a lot of in-depth content that I work really hard on. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys subscribe. We would love to have you as a part of Dehave Nation, which is our growing community. And other than that, follow my Twitch, follow my Twitter. I'm pretty active on both of those. I will catch you guys in the next one tomorrow. And this is your boy Dehave, and as always, peace.